welcome to the Revive Then Thrive podcast. I'm your host, Hallelujah Adams, licensed marriage and family therapist. In this new series, Attachment in Action, How Our Styles Shape Our Struggles, we're going beyond the labels and into the heart of what attachment actually looks like in everyday relationships. Today's episode, What Attachment Really Looks Like, is the first in the series. If you've been following along with our earlier episodes on negative cycles or dances and their relational roles, this will deepen your understanding of why those patterns emerge and how they tie directly to our attachment strategies. Let's dive in together. When we talk about attachment, we're not talking about personality types or fixed traits. We're talking about how we've learned to survive emotionally in our closest relationships. Attachment strategies develop from the emotional experiences we've had, especially in early relationships. These strategies aren't flaws or dysfunctions. They're brilliant adaptations to the environments we grew up in. Some of us learned that the way to stay close was to cling, to protest, to pursue connection fiercely. Others learned that the safest way to survive was to withdraw, self-soothe, and not need too much. And some of those, especially those with early trauma or inconsistent caregiving, developed disorganized strategies, moving toward and away from closeness at the same time, caught in an inner conflict. These patterns aren't problems to fix. They're messages, signals, protective adaptations, and most of all, they make sense. Relational Thriving's 1. From a relational perspective, we view these strategies as responses to perceived threats to attachment security. The key question becomes, what is your attachment system doing to get your needs met when connection feels uncertain? Let's briefly explore the 4 main attachment strategies. Secure attachment. A person with secure strategy tends to trust that others will respond, feels comfortable with closeness, and can express needs without fear or shame. This doesn't mean perfect. It means there's enough safety to reach, respond, and repair. Anxious attachment. Often formed when caregivers were inconsistently available. In adulthood, this can look like a deep fear of abandonment, clinging behaviors, or hyper-attunement to signs of disconnection. From an attachment perspective, we often see this show up in the pursuer role, where one partner protests disconnection with intensity, sometimes criticism. Avoidant attachment. Often formed when emotional needs were minimized or punished. This strategy involves withdrawing, shutting down, or valuing independence over closeness. If you've tuned into previous episodes, this probably sounds familiar. This is often the withdrawer role, the one who goes quiet, not because they don't care, but because closeness feels risky. Disorganized attachment. Disorganized attachment typically develops in environments where connection and fear coexisted, such as trauma or chaotic caregiving. This can show up as unpredictability, deep longing mixed with deep fear, or feeling stuck between protest and retreat. Relational Thriving's 2. These patterns are attempts to regulate emotional distress. Understanding them allows us to build empathy for ourselves and for our loved ones. Let's take a couple of real-life scenarios. One partner or loved one gets quiet during a conflict. They shut down, thinking it'll prevent escalation. But the other interprets this as not caring and gets louder, more critical, trying to draw them back in. This is the pursue-withdraw cycle. but underneath it, an anxious and avoidant strategy trying to protect both partners and loved ones from pain. Or maybe both loved ones avoid hard conversations. They talk about logistics, but not emotions. There's a freeze-freeze cycle. Underneath, possibly two avoidant strategies trying to prevent rejection or disappointment. Sometimes one person reacts unpredictably, one moment reaching out, the next pulling away. This can be a disorganized strategy shaped by earlier trauma. Relational Thriving's 3. We slow these moments down. We help move from reacting to revealing, naming what's really happening inside beneath the strategy. Understanding our attachment strategies can change everything. It helps us have compassion for ourselves and our loved ones. It helps us interrupt negative cycles with curiosity instead of blame. It creates space to say, this isn't me being difficult. This is me trying to feel safe. Relational Thriving's 4. The attachment check-in. When feeling activated, ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? What am I afraid might happen? What do I most need from my loved one in this moment? Then try expressing it in a soft way. I notice I'm feeling scared that I don't matter. What I need is reassurance that you're here with me. These small moments of naming and reaching build new emotional experiences, ones that begin to rewrite old attachment scripts. This week, I invite you to notice how you show up when closeness feels threatened. Do you pursue, withdraw, freeze, swing between them? Can you trace that response back to a moment in your story? What might that strategy be protecting? You're not broken. You're bonded. And the ways you've learned to survive make sense. You can download the companion worksheet titled Attachment in Action at www.revivethenthrive.org on the podcast shop page. Go gently as you explore this worksheet. Bring curiosity, not critique. In our next episode, we'll focus on the pursuer, the one who reaches with intensity, sometimes criticism, often rooted in anxious attachment. Behind every protest or demand is a plea. Can you see me? Are you really there? We'll explore what that role is protecting, how it shows up in conflict, and how to express needs without pushing your partner away. Thanks for tuning in. I'm so honored to walk you through this tender and powerful work. Join me next week as we explore the pursuer's protest, anxious attachment, and the fight for closeness. Until then, remember, your attachment story matters, and it can be rewritten with love. See you next time. Heart hugs, y'all.